So we want to be in our postures without any pain, but we do want to be aware of something actually happening in our postures. So that will be your judge. You'll decide how you want to feel. As long as it comes without pain, you can never do any damage. We're going to roll through as long as your spine allows you to do so. Sciatically, you may want to keep a bit tall and maybe have those cushions to support you and bolsters if you have them. You take a long, deep inhale. And on the exhale, rounding the back. You may already be there. I'm just going to go a little bit deeper. We're here for 5 minutes. At any stage, you can ease out of the posture and just sit with your back straight and continue to open up the hips in that manner. There will be lots of silences and there will be some talking. So bring, first of all, your awareness to your breath. Your breath is with you 24 hours a day. It's there when we sleep, it's there when we wake, but we never take any notice of it. So in your yin practice, I'd like you to bring your awareness to your breath as much as you can. And by bringing your awareness to your breath, you're actually practicing mindfulness and meditation. Take another deep inhale and exhale, make a little bit deeper into your butterfly posture or ease off a little bit, your choice. I'd like you to imagine now the most beautiful lotus flower, whose petals only open one by one. But strange as it seems, it will only grow in mud. So it's a little bit like life itself. To grow and gain wisdom, first you must have the mud, the obstacles of life, and all the sufferings that go along with life. The lotus flower is an important symbol of spiritual progress for the yogi, as we can grow from the muck of even the worst circumstances or sufferings of life. As yogis, we can experience flower of spiritual progress, emerging from the mud and muck of our actions, as we exercise consistent efforts to improve and to grow. To start to love ourselves just a little bit more and not to be so hard on ourselves. Removing any attachment of criticism about ourselves, embrace life and all it offers. You have 1 more minute in this posture. For that final minute, you may want to draw the heels closer to the groin, which will increase the opening of the hips. Or you may want to keep them further away, which will increase the stretch in the spine. The closer the feet are to the groin, the kidney and the liver lines are being stimulated. We're working the hips and the lower spine. Just imagine that lotus flower now, emerging from all that muck, pristine. As we slowly arise, nice and slowly. If you're up already, it's far too quick. We're going to really come up nice and slow from our yin postures. And then we're going to take our windshield wipers. We all know this one, hopefully. Take your hands underneath your knees, separate your feet. Nice and wide, hands behind you. We're just going to do internal and external hip rotation. Don't worry if the knees don't come down. Remember, no criticism of yourself. Just feel the movement, enjoy the movement. Quite a lot of hip opening this evening. In fact, many of the yogi yin postures are all about the lower back and the hips. They have nice long legs now. And we're going to draw the left foot in. And we're just going to take it into that tree position. Now, if you want, cushions can go underneath that knee, which may make it feel a lot more comfortable. This leg is straight in front of you. Going to take a long, deep inhale. And on the exhale, let's take our bow. So tight hamstrings, it may mean that you're going to have pillows underneath your knee or arms underneath the knee. Spine issues, sciatica, stay high. No back issues. Rolling forward, coming into really nice half butterfly position. So we're really working into that spine, especially the lower back. We're also working into the knees, nice stretch of the inner knees if that leg is straight. Nice, easy breathing. The head can be supported if you want to. You can have your arms on cushions or bolsters if you want to, if it's all a bit too much. So whichever feels appropriate to your body tonight is what you should be doing. What you do want to feel is that something is happening. That's what we do want to feel, just slightly out of our comfort zone. And then again, we bring that mindfulness, that meditation into the practice, opening up the body, calming the mind by simply focusing on our breath. Just a couple more breaths. And then very slowly we bring our hands to the earth. And nice and slowly we rise all the way up. And the back is straight. We'll bring that bent knee in. And we'll stretch away with the legs. And again, we'll do those windshield wipers. So just really easing into the hips. You'll find that the wider your feet are apart, the more accessible the floor is. Just see how it feels. And then the opposite knee comes in. And we support it with bolsters or cushions. I forgot to mention that if it is a real issue, you can actually take the leg out and forget about the knee completely. Again, it's 3 minutes. Take a long, deep inhale, stay straight, sciatica or back issues, round the back. Support your head if you need to, support the upper part of the body with cushions if you need to. Just release into your posture. So thinking about worrying, everyone worries. Conflict at work, doctor's appointment, family, an exam. There's so many reasons to worry. But worrying doesn't solve anything. The difference between thinking and worrying is that thinking leads to a solution, but worrying solves nothing. So if something's going to happen in your life, it will happen. You can't change that. But we can change our response to what is happening. The Buddha has some good advice, which I'll give you later on. Worrying certainly doesn't lead to any solutions or new insights. In fact, worrying leads to stress, anxiety, and really feeling quite gloomy. And also, it takes a lot of our time and energy to worry. So remember, if you're faced with a problem, you'll be able to handle it. You don't need to worry about it. You will handle it in your own way. Just a few more delicious breaths in this posture. And then very slowly we rise, nice and slowly. Bring that knee back in if it's out. Oh, that feels good. I'm hoping that feels good. It feels good to me. No matter how many times you do yin, each posture is always different to you. Each day you feel different. So it's quite interesting that you can take the gaze inside the body all of the time. Okay, we're going to take back windshield wipers again. And remember, if you're training to sit on the floor instead of your chairs, this is what you'll do. Probably in the commercials, if you're watching TV, this is what you'll do. Really internal and external hip rotation instead of tightening up those hamstrings by being seated in chairs. Floor becomes your friend. Okay, the next posture, you'll still need to be seated on a cushion. I'm going to take those legs wide. You'll notice there's very few postures in Yin. The way to become advanced in your Yin practice would be to take the postures for much, much longer. So seated on a cushion, you're going to stay high if you have any back issues or sciatica. You can have a bolster if you're fortunate to have a bolster. You can have it here if you want to just keep that spine straight and not get the neck involved as well. You can have it in front of you and release onto it and still have your hands to support your head. Or you can take the full posture and go a lot deeper. Now, if you have tight hamstrings, I'm guessing they're screaming at you. So the simple opportunity would bend the knees and maybe pop some cushions underneath those knees before we bend forward. So it's quite an intense posture for the inner knee. We're really working into the medial meniscus here. So if it feels a bit too intense on the knee, bring the legs a bit closer together. And just ease and yield into the posture, really enjoying where we want to be. And as it's a long hold posture, take it easy to begin with and just see if the body decides to open. Just see if it wants to yield a little bit more. You'll probably feel quite a tug on the hamstrings where the hamstrings insert into your sit bones. Just be aware that we don't want that too intense. We just want to feel that nice tug, but not too intense. I'm just going to give you a little quote from somebody named Lao Tzu. The secret of health for both mind and body is not to mourn for the past, or worry about the future, or anticipate troubles, but to live in the present moment wisely and earnestly. If you are depressed, you are living in the past, possibly. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are now living in the present. So we want to live in the present moment. That's all we have is the present moment. And sometimes we forget to enjoy it. So please be aware that we don't want pain, anything electrical, burning, shooting, anything strange happening in that lower back is an indication you're going too far, too quick. Those who know the posture well may want to take their hands onto their feet and just yield a little bit more. And some of you may be very high. Some of you may be here, especially the guys. They may think, oh my goodness. But that's where you should be. As long as you're feeling it, then something is happening and we are opening up the tissues, the deeper tissues of the body. So as long as you can feel it, rest assured something's happening. The muscles are relaxed completely. We're only working the joints, tendons, ligaments. They're all forms of connective tissue which surrounds the muscles and the joints. Connective tissue is all over our bodies. So we have a few more breaths. It's quite a long hold, this one. Have a nice straight back in a moment. And then very slowly, hands to the earth, and we ease ourselves out of the posture. Nice and slowly. You may get some clicks and cracks going on in the body. That's quite good news, actually, because it means we've moved something. We've managed to shift something. So as long as it comes without pain, that's good news. Pick up the knees a little bit, and this time we just drag them back in again, and we have long legs. So keeping your toes facing to the ceiling, just going to bring your hands flat behind you. We're just going to lift up the heart for a back bend. Just a very gentle back bend. Nothing too intense. And then come back to neutral. And then we're going to have a nice straight seated posture. So some of us will just take one leg over. And we'll be on the outer edge of the foot. So I've taken my right leg over. And I'm working external hip rotation, and also I'm working into the hamstrings of that straight leg. It's a great posture. You're going to have your hands on top of the knee. You're going to keep your spine quite straight. Some of you may want to go a little bit deeper. So this is my left foot, which is in front of me. I'm going to lean to the left to enable me to flick that foot behind me. And then I'm going to shuffle my knees one over the other and bring my spine nice and straight. I'm going to have a 3-minute hold here. So shuffle around if you're in this position to get your buttocks, your sit bones on the mat. And if you wanted to take it deeper, I can't take it deeper, but if you do want to take it deeper, you just bring the feet further forward. So you have this sort of position. It's quite intense on my hips, and it means one of my hips lifts up. So I prefer to bring them back in again. But everybody's hips are different. So if you want to take that deeper posture, that's entirely up to you. We'll keep our spines nice and straight. And somebody mentioned shoulders, so we're going to work into the shoulders a little bit in a yin fashion. I'm going to take the arms out in front of you. This is my right knee on top. I'm going to take my right elbow off the top, and I'm going to give myself a nice warm up. And we'll just stretch out these back muscles. And that feels quite good. So I may stay here, or I may go a little bit deeper. So I'm going to take my arms in front of me, take the right over the left, and then I'm going to, what we call eagle the arms. So I'm just going to clap my hands together. And then you're going to feel that more, really working into those back, upper shoulder muscles. And we can stay here, or we can go deeper again with the arms. The hips are just marinating in their position. We want to go deeper with the arms. We'll take the arms all the way up, and the eagle soars. If it's too much, you're just going to give yourself that warm hug again. Or you'll bring the arms down from the eagle soaring, or you'll keep them up. So lots of options, lots of bodies. So we carry a lot of our worries in our shoulders. They become so heavy sometimes. We want to think about releasing anything that may be worrying us, anything we're holding on to that we don't really need to. Life has a funny way of sorting itself out. And then we're slowly going to release that. And we're going to take the arms now and we're going to push those walls away from us. So imagine you've got any stress, we're just going to really have a nice yang arm movement and push those walls away from us. You're going to release the hands down, lean back if you've got your legs wrapped around each other and come back to that straight leg. And then we're going to just take exactly the same position on the other side. So that leg can stay here. This is my left leg on top. I'm on the outer edge of the foot. The spine is straight, great posture. Or this is my right foot. I'm leaning to the right and I'm going to flip that leg behind me. And I'm going to shuffle so I get my sit bones on the mat. We're just going to make sure that that bottom knee is happy to be here. And then we have a straight spine. This side for me is a lot more challenging. I can really feel it. And I seem to be listing a little bit. So I might, when you can take those legs in a little bit closer so that I'm not listing. Nice, easy breathing. So think now of a nice straight spine. And then we'll take the arms along in front of us. Left knee, left arm, over the opposite elbow, and we'll give ourselves a hug. Hugasana. It's nice to have a hug sometimes. So you may want to stay like that, or long arms. We'll eagle the arms, and we'll stay here. Or alternatively, we can soar with the eagle and stay here. The spine stays straight. So I'm going to be quiet now, so I want you to really observe. You're working multiple parts of the body at the moment. I want you to really observe where you're feeling this the deepest. So unravel the arms. We're going to take out the arms to the side, yang arm movement. Really push those walls away. Feel the muscles react in the upper arms. And just get rid of any stress, tension, anxiety. Let's just push it away from us. We don't need it. We don't want it. And then slowly bring the hands to the earth. And we're just going to lean back if you've double crossed. And long legs. So you're going to do something organic now, anything that feels quite nice for you to do so. So just really, but still very deep into the hips. I'm sure you're feeling it. Now the next posture will be focused in, it's called sleeping swan, pigeon as it's known in yoga. And anybody with knee issues, it's not going to be a great posture for you. So I'm going to give you an alternative first. We haven't got Malcolm to assist us in the alternative, so I'll give you the alternative. I'm going to lay on our backs, pop a pillow underneath your head if you want to. You're going to be here for a while. And then you're just going to have one leg long and the other one can just drape out to the side, or it can be closer to the floor, your choice. You can take your arms up and just relax here. So it's going to be quite a long hold. If it feels a bit too intense, just bring yourself back to this position. So those who have no issues with their knees, no issues in the tissues, we're going to go into our pigeon. So have your bolsters or your cushions around you. Quite a deep hip opener. We're going to come into all fours. I'm just going to slide the right knee to the right thumb. And then this back toe will tuck, and we're going to move that back leg away. We really want to get into this big area here, this hip area. 20 muscles cross over this area, so a lot of tension and a lot of connective tissue there. Now, I leaned over to the side. I don't really want you to lean over to the side. I want you to come back up, so you've got both sit bones facing up to the ceiling. Your foot can stay in the groin. If that knee feels comfortable with the foot in the groin, that's where it should stay. If you want to go a little bit deeper, and the knee allows you to do so, you can lean to that side again and bring the foot further forward, more parallel, and then take the sit bones back off the mat. And this is where we have our props. The cushions can come under this hip here, and it means you're going to be a little more straightforward. They can come in front of you. I'm sure lots of you are already in the posture because you know it well. Or you can even pop a cushion under this buttock here to keep you a little bit more upright. So it's going to be 5 minutes. If that knee at the front does object, then please just rise up and maybe lay on your tummies until we change to the other leg. So just releasing now. And again, being really mindful. And at any stage, if you want to go a little bit deeper, the back toe can tuck and you can walk that back leg a little bit further away. Use any props that you want. We're going to really have a meditation now of what's happening in the body. We now have time to pay attention to where we are and what is happening right now. We're right in the present moment now. So again, there will be some quiet moments because when we practice this mindfulness meditation, we're practicing the art of creating space for ourselves. Space to think, space to breathe, and space between ourselves and our reactions. Your mind will wander. Bring it back. Mind may start to shift to something that may have happened yesterday or some plans for tomorrow, but bring it back to the moment, right now. What's happening right now? Just going to bring our hands underneath the shoulders, just going to rise up into what we call proud swan. So it's a little back bend going on here. It's taking some pressure off that front knee as well. And you're going to enjoy the next movement. It's what we call a Sukkah moment, and I'll explain what Sukkah is later on. But for the moment, just know that it will be a Sukkah moment. So if you're laying on your back, maybe bring your knees into your chest and have your Sukkah movement in that movement. If you're with me, you're just going to glide that leg back and lay on your tummies and that's what we call Sukkah. A really pleasant, happy feeling that we're out of that suffering. So if you're on your back, you're just going to obviously take the cushions on the opposite side and turn that leg out. With me, we're rising up through the cobra back bend onto the knees. And then we'll draw that left knee towards the left thumb. And we'll start to settle into our posture. And again, each side is very, very different. Each knee is very, very different. First, you check your knee is okay, because if your hips are really tight, it'll take it to the next joint along, which is the knee joint. And while we can open up the hips a little bit, we can't open up the knee joints. So we first focus on the knees happy. And then that heel can stay in the groin, that's perfectly acceptable. If you do want to go deeper, we lean to the bent knee side and we bring the foot a bit closer forward. So it's more parallel, and then we flex this foot a little bit more, and then we tip back up again. And then we have our props. Maybe pop a small cushion under this hip, or you can take any cushions and put them under this, stop you rolling around, or you can take it in front of you. It's 5 minutes. And both sides are very different. So working with Buddha, he tells us about dukkha and sukha. And Buddha defines dukkha. Dukkha is birth. Imagine the pain of birth. Dukkha is aging. None of us want to age. Dukkha is sickness, illness, anxiety, and stress. It's also death. Dukkha is also getting things you don't want and not getting the things that you do want. These are the facts of life. They occur to everybody. That's life. But how we react to dukkha is called suffering. The Buddha explanation is that suffering is optional. If you're alive, you are going to experience dukkha. That's life. How do we act to this rising of dukkha? What do we actually add to it? So I'm sure you've all been in positions where you may have said something you think you shouldn't have said, or people have said things to you that you haven't liked, or all sorts of things happen in life that we add suffering to. Why didn't you get that job? Loads and loads and loads of different problems arise in our lives, and we just add and add and add more and more to the suffering by bringing it into something like a movie. It's happened. We can't change it, but we can change our reaction to it. So we try not to add things to dukkha. Dukkha is like a it's like a day-to-day, like a really miserable, rainy, cloudy day. But above that rain and cloud and that doom and gloom, there is beautiful blue sky. We had it yesterday. It's always there, so we can find it. Now the opposite to dukkha is sukha. We've experienced a bit of sukha when we came out of that posture. And sukha is happiness, pleasure, joy, bliss, joy of life. Well, the good news is that the path of yoga is the path of Sukkah. If you are practicing yoga regularly, it brings more and more Sukkah into your life. Because practicing helps us to understand the nature of suffering, including its causes and cures. So the yoga tradition provides a proven path towards greater levels of well-being, towards opening and centering our hearts towards more sukha. So we begin to be more mindful in our lives of all the good and positive things in our lives, and we don't go and search that dukkha. We've got a couple more breaths in this position, and then we're going to come up into that proud swan. We're going to bring the hands, take some pressure off that knee by taking ourselves into a little back bend. And then we'll look forward to that Sukkah. So here it comes. We slide the leg back, we lay on our tummies, and we find that Sukkah. And if you're on your backs, draw your knees into your chest, have a little roll around, and lay down on your back. So our next posture will be a back bend, but it will be quite a restorative back bend. You're going to bring any cushions that you have in front of you and drape your armpits over the cushions. I'm fortunate enough to have a bolster, but you can use cushions here. If you're not feeling it too much in the spine, because this is a back bend, we can just take any props away from us and come into our Sphinx posture. Your feet are together. I'm going to be here for quite a while. So it's a 5-minute hold. So you can always bring that cushion back in again if you want to. So we are stressing the lower back now. And all tissues need to be stressed. Otherwise they just atrophy and waste away. But we do it with awareness so that we don't harm ourselves. Tingling, burning, shooting, all no-go areas, but a nice sensation that you're just outside of your comfort zone. It's quite acceptable. They're just a couple of quotes that I found about worrying. This is an anonymous quote. Worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It only takes away today's peace. Well, that's a good one to remember. Worrying does not take away tomorrow's troubles. It only takes away today's peace. Remember, if you're still not feeling it in your Sphinx, you can bring the heels in towards the buttocks. This will increase that back bend. It's not too intense, but it will just increase it a little bit more. Here's another anonymous quote. Buddha was asked, "What have you gained from meditation?" He replied, "Nothing." However, Buddha said, "Let me tell you what I lost. Anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, fear of old age, and death." They're not to be gained from meditation. Now, some of you may not be feeling this at all in the spine, and I want you to feel something. So if you're not feeling anything at all, for the next minute and a half, you can come into the posture called seal posture. For this, we'll take the feet down and we'll stretch our arms out wider, fingertips pointing away from the body, and we'll rise up, but we'll keep that pubic bone on the mat. So it's much more compressive in that lower back. If it's too intense, you'll certainly know about it. Now, it doesn't matter what you do with your shoulders because we're just into the lower back, so they may be up near your ears. Doesn't really matter. And you breathe. And we have full awareness of what's happening. Did your buttocks contract? Did your spine ask the buttocks to contract? Sometimes that happens in a back bend. We do want the muscles to be relaxed, but sometimes when we ask a lot of our spine, the buttocks automatically contract. Doesn't matter whether they did or they didn't, it's just an observation. So just a couple more breaths, whichever position you're in. And then slowly we release down, and we find that Sukkah movement again. We just lay here and do nothing. We're just going to roll onto our backs. And just have your feet flat, and we want the spine to just settle a little bit now. Take any cushions away from you that may be in the way. And remember the butterfly movement that we had when we were seated. We're going to take that same butterfly movement while we're laying on our backs. So we just open the feet wide, so they're really nice and wide. And then we're just going to drop the knees to the right. So we're finishing the practice with this spinal rotation and internal and external hip rotation. I'm going to draw the left shoulder down to the mat. Perhaps you want a cushion underneath the left shoulder to make that happen. We can make this more intense if you want to by using our own body weight. So the right foot would come on top of the left knee, and we would draw the left knee down towards the earth. It's a lot deeper. You don't have to do this. It's much, much deeper. If it's too intense, just drop out of it and come to that position. Now we just settle. And the knowledge that this is the final postures. Just relax and ease into the postures. Maybe now for this last two postures, you may want to meditate on something like sound. So what can you hear? Maybe I can hear lots of stormy weather outside. What can you hear? And if you can keep your focus on what you can hear, maybe it's music, maybe it's a ticking clock. And just a couple more breaths. And if the foot's on top of that knee, we'll release down. Come back to the center. Oh, that feels nice. We'll just take maybe a little movement of lifting the hips up so the spine can settle again. Maybe do something organic, just hug the knees, circle the knees, whatever feels nice to you. And then the feet are flat. And then we take the legs nice and wide. And then we just drop to the left. And then we make our choices. Pillow under the right shoulder if that shoulder is lifting. And then if you want to, the weight of your left foot on top of your right knee, taking it much more intense. Your practice, whatever you're doing is the right movement. If you're feeling it, you're doing it. If you're feeling it, it's working. Just a few more breaths. So if the foot's on top of the knee, we take it down, and then we all come back to the center, and maybe lift up the buttocks slightly to settle the spine back down again. Draw the knees into the chest, and we just gently do anything organic that feels good to us. And then we move into Shavashna. So if you've got blankets, put something warm on maybe. If you've got your blankets, you'll settle down. Please stay for a few minutes. I'm going to do a relaxation, so it's entirely up whether you stay for it or not. I'll just drift away from you. So just lay down now. Just let's settle the body down. If you have back issues, you may want to keep the feet flat onto the mat, but no back issues. You have cushions or bolsters, you can put them underneath your knees. And that will take some pressure from the spine as well. And just settle the shoulders down, open the legs, and we rest in our Shavashna. And for just a couple of minutes now, I want you to just think about how many times you've worried about something and you've made a big drama out of it when it never actually happened. So that was dukkha. So whenever something happens in your life now, perhaps think, I'm not going to add dukkha to it. So bring your attention to your breath. Your beautiful breath that's helped you through your practice. So this is a time now for total relaxation and inner stillness. Take a moment now to make sure that you're nice and warm and that you're comfortable. Allow your eyes to rest. Close them softly. Take a long, slow, deep inhalation. Pause for a moment and then slowly exhale. Just allow any tension to melt away. Take another long, slow, deep breath in. Pause. Another nice long exhale. And then do that one more time. Nice long, slow, deep in breath. Pause. Another long exhale. Now just continue to have your natural breath. Don't alter it in any way at all. It's just your natural breath. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Just sense or imagine a feeling of relaxation beginning to spread down from the top of your scalp. Feel the muscles in your forehead and temples relax. Allow your eye muscles to release. Let your cheeks and jaw soften and let go of all tension. Now let this peaceful feeling flow down into your neck. Feel it loosening every muscle and every fiber. With each breath you take, this relaxing feeling becomes deeper and warmer. It works its way deeply into the muscles of your shoulders. soothing them, releasing them. This peaceful feeling flows down from your shoulders and into your arms. It loosens the muscles in your upper arms, your forearms, your hands, relaxing and soothing all the way to the tips of your fingers. As your body relaxes, your mind relaxes, and your thoughts seem to become lighter. You're slipping further and further into a dreamlike state of stillness and relaxation. Now bring your awareness to your chest and your stomach. Feel how this area of your body gently rises and falls as you breathe. A peaceful sensation flows throughout this area of your body, soothing every muscle and relaxing every organ. You can feel it releasing every last molecule of tension. Turn your attention to your upper back and feel this relaxing sensation flow all the way down your spine. As it gradually works its way down your body, feel every muscle in your back relax and unwind. Feel like your entire upper body has become loose, limp, and relaxed. Sink into this serene sensation. Relax more and more deeply with each breath. Now feel your hips relax as the peaceful feeling starts to work its way through your lower body. Relax your buttocks, the backs of your thighs, the front of your thighs. Feel all these large, strong muscle groups becoming looser and more relaxed with each passing moment. Soothing feelings of relaxation now flow down through your knees and into your calves. Your ankles relax. Now your feet relax. Allow your entire lower body to relax completely. And allow any remaining tension from anywhere in your body to flow out through the tips of your toes. You are comfortable, peaceful, and relaxed.